What does it take to silence a plane full of strangers who think they know everything? Sergeant Emily Carter knew the answer, though she never sought it. The hum of the crowded red-eye flight from Chicago to Los Angeles buzzed with restless energy. Passengers shuffled in their seats, the air thick with the scent of recycled cabin air and impatience. Emily sat by the window in row 17, her army uniform neatly pressed, her duffel bag stowed beneath the seat. She was returning home after her third deployment, her heart heavy with memories of sand and sacrifice, but her face calm, resolute. She didn't notice the stairs at first. Her uniform, with its rows of ribbons and the sergeant's insignia, drew eyes like a magnet. A man in a business suit across the aisle leaned toward his colleague, his voice low but not low enough. "Looks like she's playing dress-up," he muttered, smirking. His friend chuckled, glancing at Emily. Probably just a reservist, never seen real action. The words stung, but Emily kept her gaze fixed on the clouds outside, her jaw tightening. She'd heard worse. In her years of service, she'd faced skepticism, condescension, even outright hostility for being a woman in uniform. Each time, she let her actions speak louder than their doubts. But the comments didn't stop. A group of college students a few rows ahead joined in, their laughter sharp and careless. "Check out G.I. Jane over there," one said, loud enough for half the cabin to hear. "Bet she's just here for the free flight perks." Snickers rippled through the nearby seats. A woman in a designer jacket rolled her eyes, whispering to her companion, "It's always the women trying to prove something." Emily's fingers curled around the armrest, but she stayed silent. She didn't owe them an explanation. She didn't need to justify the scars physical and otherwise that her uniform represented. The plane hit a pocket of turbulence, and the captain's voice crackled over the intercom, asking everyone to stay seated. The mocking continued, growing bolder. A teenager with earbuds dangling smirked and called out, "Hey, soldier girl, you gonna protect us if this plane goes down?" More laughter followed, cutting through the cabin like a blade. Emily's heart pounded, not with anger, but with a quiet resolve. She'd faced worse than their words' mortar fire, sleepless nights in hostile zones, the weight of carrying her squad through chaos. This was nothing, yet it hurt in a way she hadn't expected, a reminder that even here, on her way home, she couldn't escape judgment. Then it happened. A piercing scream tore through the cabin from the back of the plane. Heads whipped around, the laughter dying instantly. A woman in her 60s was clutching her chest, her face pale, her breathing shallow. Panic spread like wildfire. Someone yelled, "She's having a heart attack." The flight attendants scrambled, their voices tense as they called for a doctor. Passengers craned their necks, some standing, others frozen in their seats. The plane felt smaller, the air heavier. Emily didn't hesitate. She unbuckled her seatbelt and moved swiftly down the aisle, her training kicking in. "Ma'am, I'm here to help," she said calmly, kneeling beside the woman. Her hands were steady as she checked the woman's pulse, her voice a lifeline in the chaos. "I'm a combat medic. Stay with me, okay?" She barked orders to the nearest flight attendant, "Get me the onboard AD. Now," her tone commanding but composed. The cabin fell silent, the mocking passengers now watching with wide eyes. Emily worked with precision, her hands moving with the muscle memory of countless emergencies. She spoke softly to the woman, whose name she learned was Margaret, keeping her calm while assessing her condition. When the AED arrived, Emily applied the pads with practiced ease, following the device's prompts while monitoring Margaret's breathing. The entire plane seemed to hold its breath, the earlier jeers replaced by a hushed reverence. The man in the business suit stared, his face flushed with shame. The college students sat frozen, their bravado gone. The woman in the designer jacket clutched her purse, her eyes glistening. After what felt like an eternity, Margaret's breathing stabilized. The AED had done its job, and Emily's quick thinking had bought her precious time until the plane could land. The captain announced an emergency diversion to Denver, and the cabin erupted in applause, not for the announcement, but for Emily. She didn't acknowledge it. Her focus remained on Margaret, holding her hand, offering quiet reassurance until paramedics boarded the plane. As Emily returned to her seat, the cabin was different. No one spoke. No one laughed. The man in the suit approached her, his voice low. "I'm sorry," he said, barely meeting her eyes. "I didn't know." Emily nodded, her expression unreadable. You don't have to know, she said simply. You just have to respect. He nodded, retreating to his seat, his colleagues silent beside him. The college students avoided her gaze, their earbuds back in place. The woman in the designer jacket offered a small, apologetic smile, which Emily returned faintly. When the plane landed, passengers parted to let Emily exit first, their silence a heavy acknowledgement of their earlier words. Margaret, now on a stretcher, reached for Emily's hand. Thank you, she whispered, tears in her eyes. You're a hero. Emily shook her head. Just doing my job, ma'am, she said. But her voice carried the weight of every sacrifice she'd made, every doubt she'd overcome. As she stepped into the terminal, Emily stood a little taller. She didn't need their approval or their apologies. She carried her truth in the stripes on her sleeve, in the lives she'd saved, in the battles she'd fought seen and unseen. The plane had fallen silent in shame, but Emily's heart was steady, unbroken. She was a soldier, a medic, a woman who didn't need to prove anything to anyone. And in that moment, every passenger knew it.